straight. Ta-da! Yep. Tiana here again saying kia orana and welcome to yet another episode of the Kreative Kokanuts. Now in this series we're chatting with various artists in the Cook Islands community and it's art of all forms. Now here's an interesting one. So Dion Teau is well known for the baby pancakes in Rarotonga, and rightly so, it's simple and delicious. However, in this episode of the Kreative Kokanuts, we talk to Dion about another art he is skilled in, martial arts. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or BJJ, is the art of control that leads to submission by way of strangulation or joint manipulation. Its roots stem from Japanese Judo that was taken over to Brazil, where the Gracie family refined the martial art to what it is today. Dion has been practicing BJJ for many years, and Karl Webber, who is the New Zealand godfather of MMA, describes Dion as one of the true OGs of New Zealand Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In his years of experience, Dion has also trained UFC fighters, such as Dan Hangman Hooker and others. Well, with all that wealth of experience, we'll just let him do the talking. Here he is.
Hi, my name is Dion Teau. I'm owner-operator of Baby Pancakes. Most people know me as Baby Pancakes, especially the kids. Every time I go down the street, hey, Baby Pancakes, you know. I don't think they know my name. But anyway, that's what I do for a trade. That's what I do for a living. But my big passion is BJJ. Well, BJJ stands for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I would say it's a self-defense and sport-oriented martial art. It's a grappling art, basically. Its main focus, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is well known for being a ground-oriented art, which means you take an opponent down onto the ground, you control him, and then the ultimate goal is to get him in some form of submission. It's what we call a submission, whether it's a choke, a lock on any one of your joints, could be your neck, shoulder, legs, and the idea is to make the opponent verbally or physically tap out. It's what we call a tap out. If you feel something sore about to break, you have to tap out, and then we let it go and start again. I think it's the control, how you have the control of somebody. You are able to manipulate them in a way that you can hurt them if you want, but you can do so in a way where it's controlled if you so want it to be, you know. Some people view it as an art. There is the self-defense aspect of it. Some people like to take it along that road, but others like more so the sport-oriented path of it. Yeah, there's so many moves in BJJ. I think that's what differentiates it from other arts. Boxing, kickboxing, you probably could count the amount of techniques you can perform, but in Jiu-Jitsu it's not the same case. There's so many techniques and counter techniques. You do a move and you think you've got this fella on this certain move, and then he comes back with a counter move, so you have to go back, think about, man, how am I going to counter this move? So you come back with another move, so it's never ending, basically. Learning the counters and escapes from positions and submissions, that's what really gets me. I like to think about, oh, how can I get out of this? How can I escape this? And that's what appeals to me. So it's been said that basically Jiu-Jitsu is like human chess, you know, but we're putting our bodies on the line. So if we do something wrong, you're going to know straight away, you know. Okay, no-gi training is it's basically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but they have a uniform. It's like the traditional uniform most martial artists wear, the white one with the belt. But in no-gi means you take the uniform off and you're basically wearing what I'm wearing, or just normal street clothes. That's the main difference, really, that aspect. With the gi, the uniform, you have much more techniques you can do. You're able to grip the uniform and use it, you know, to manipulate their joints to get them in submissions and things like that. Whereas no gi, I would say it's a bit more faster, a bit more slipperier. You have to be more tighter with your controls. Yeah, probably more for the athletic. I'll say, hey, it could be, yeah, could be. Whereas the training in the gi, you can be much slower and methodical. Well, I first got started in New Zealand. I think I got into it a bit late, so I started when I was 35. So I've been doing it now for maybe about 18 years. But I first saw a show called the UFC. At the moment, it's a popular fighting show nowadays, but back then it was just beginning. And what got me into it is I saw this skinny Brazilian fella, and he was fighting these guys that are twice his size, bigger than him, and he was using moves that I've never seen before. Before that, I was doing striking art, karate. And when I saw this, I was going, man, what is that fella doing? How's he controlling these fellas and submitting these fellas? So from that point on, I wanted to do whatever that guy was doing. So I found out it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Got on the phone, looking up in the phone book, trying to find a class, and I was lucky enough to find one, and that's where it all started. And I found that I liked the grappling arts more so than the striking arts. The striking art, I didn't like to hit people, and I didn't like to be hit. So when I found Jiu-Jitsu, it just sort of suited my temperament, and yeah. Well, yeah, Karl Webber. Karl Webber's, he was one of the main mans back in the day. I can say that for sure. He was there in the beginnings, and yeah, I remember him. He's the only one that gave me a VHS tape, with these BJJ techniques on it. He always encouraged me. Whenever he saw me in the food court or anything like that, he would come up to me. He was quite nice to me. And he used to encourage me, hey bro, come to my school, come train with us, And I always say, yeah, come, but I never did, He always used to say that, but I never did. And then one day, I did. Yeah, I turned up. He had a school back then called Universal Jiu-Jitsu. It was operating out of a gym in Newland. I think it was Newland, yeah. And that was my first class I ever did. From the first time when I broke my leg, I joined back. This was like years later. I had the guts to go back, so I started training with Karl over there. And then from there, Karl joined up with another gym called Strikeforce Gym. It was a Muay Thai gym. He joined forces with them, so they combined Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. And they became quite a well-known gym back. They formed a well-known gym that recently had a lot of good fighters coming out of it. UFC stars. That's where they had their beginnings, was at Strikeforce Academy. Finally found this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, and I'd only been training about three months, I think, going twice a week for 3 months, and then I was grappling with this big guy, and then he accidentally broke my leg. Like, that was it. It like cracked in 3 places. So I was like, man, just put me out for a long time. Yeah, it's my first ever broken bone, and it had to be from Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. Yeah. Even though I had a broken leg, couldn't walk properly, I used to come to training on the crutches. Just hobble up the stairs, sit down there, just watching what they're doing, what the instructor's teaching the students, and that's the way it was. I just wanted to do it as soon as that leg was good enough to, as soon as the leg was better, I wanted to come back. But it took me a long time, because psychologically, I was scared when people come near my leg, I used to go, oh yeah, that's it, I used to tap out too early and that. So it took me a while, but eventually I got over it. I realized that the pain wasn't in my leg, it was actually in my own head. So Dan Hooker, I can remember the first time he came into my grappling class. He was, I came across as a cocky young fella back then, But, after a few rolls, you know how it goes. Yeah. They mellow out a bit, and then, he ended up, just turning out into a good guy after that, But even back then, I could see the way he trained, his mentality was a strong mentality. It was that never quit mentality. And you knew those kind of guys, that's something special going on. Yeah, just a tough dude, good, mentally strong. That's what I remember about Dan. Yeah. Well, when I think back, because they've become very popular now, they become superstars in their own right. But having been there in the beginning, as they were coming up, they were like fresh out of intermediate school, so young. Some of them had a bit of weight on them, but just seeing the changes in their body and the progress they made over the years, I think it's just nice just being a part of that and seeing them, what they have achieved today. Yeah, I think I was just lucky enough to train with these guys. I wouldn't say that I had anything to do with what they are today, but just had the pleasure of being there as they were coming up through the ranks. You see their progress and how they've evolved as they are today. Yeah. Surreal, really. Yeah, really surreal. Just like, man, we used to train with that guy, and look at him now. I decided to come back home to be with my mum and dad, and so I thought, oh well, while I'm over here, I'll try and set up a school over here doing jiu-jitsu. But when I came over here, I found it very hard to find a place that you could set up a school in. But fortunately, I found a school called Aidemoi Jiu-Jitsu, which is Mii's the founder of the school, and so I just joined in. Yeah, that's where we've been ever since, eh? Yeah. We've been overseas a few times. One of them was we did a fundraiser and we took a small team over to New Zealand, and we did okay. Most of the guys got silver medals. One gold, couple or few silver medals. So we did good on that time. The other times that we've been over, I've been with my student here, Martin over here, Martin Sticker. he's the one that spent the most time with me, and the things that I know, he knows now. Okay, so we used to just fund ourselves, pay our own fares, and make our own ways to the tournaments and that. The government can come on board and help us do things like that. I think it's good in the long run. For the martial arts scene in general and jiu-jitsu itself. Like if we get exposure overseas, it all reflects back on the Cook Islands, Rarotonga. So I think that could be a good thing. It would be a big bonus, like I said, if they could do something like that. It just takes a lot of pressure off us, financially as well. If we could have help like that, it would be nice. One, especially with our young kids, it'd be nice to get get the young kids, get them at a young age, and yeah, I think it's a good thing for the kids. The more people involved, the better for everybody in the jiu-jitsu community anyway. Maybe come down and give jiu-jitsu a try. Men, ladies, old, young, you're welcome down here. Come and learn some form of self-defense or sports-oriented martial art if you like. Yeah, especially for the ladies too. It's good for the ladies, the self-defense aspects of it. Yeah, but you're all welcome to come down and give it a go. Well, if you want to find me, come to my hut, opposite the Punanganui Market, Baby Pancakes Hut. That's where you can find me. But if you want to do some classes, like grappling classes, jiu-jitsu classes, you're interested in that, you can come see me at the hut and we can have a talk, and I can tell you how you can go about that, joining up or having a go at it.
So what did you think? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? The amount of control, patience and restraint required. It's rather impressive. Just as impressive, our participants for our next episode. Yes, that was participants plural. We speak with a few of Te Reo College's creative graduates, singers, budding film directors, actors. There's a lot of talent in our young people waiting to jump out into the world. However, it's not that easy. So we talk to the students about their dreams and what support they need to be able to achieve them. We can't wait for you all to hear from them. So until then, ka kite rā, e no ora.